5-4 to the outside. Did you see that? Did you see that?
You bet your ass I saw that shit! Mustafa Ali coming all the way off the top rope, hitting Tyler Bate, the British big strong boy, with the old 5-4 all the way from the top rope all the way down to the arena floor. Much like that move right there, and much like I'm sure the rest of that match was, this episode of The Real Rush is shaping up to be just a straight up slobber knocker 2. Bang your head to the opening riff. What is happening, y'all? It's your boy J-Dub here, and welcome to episode 37 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. We got a lot of ground to cover this weekend, folks, or this episode, folks, and let's go ahead and get right on down to the business at hand. First and foremost, your boy, if you can't tell, he's a little wired, alright? It's been a long couple weeks, been a long couple weekends. If you saw some of my posts over the last couple weeks, it's shaping up to be a couple of busy weekends. You know, just jam-packed full of Rush stuff and Bandit stuff. And speaking of Bandits, speaking of Stagecoach, I want to thank everybody for coming out to yesterday's Summer of Love tailgate party that was hosted by Stagecoach Theater Company in conjunction with Visit Loudon. We Bandits ourselves had a brief-ish, 30-40 minute impromptu performance. That went pretty well in my honest opinion. If you weren't around to see it, you just missed a little bit. You just missed just a taste of what we bring to y'all at our regular monthly shows, third Friday of the month shows, or in this month's case, next coming Sunday, we'll be having a show. Details for that will be coming up at the end of this show. There was good food from Superior Eats out there. I got myself a whole plate full of fried chicken and green beans and corn and cornbread. And it was oh so good, oh so delicious. I couldn't even finish it all. I still got half of it that I got to finish right now. And that sounds a little bit stereotypical. Of course, J-Dub, you're going to like fried chicken and green beans and cornbread and all that shit because you're genetically supposed to doing that. No, I'm not some genetically predisposed to liking fried chicken and stuff like that. I'm genetically predisposed to liking delicious food. If it's delicious, I'm gonna eat it. Doesn't matter what culture it's from. Alright? So knock all that off right now. I love fried chicken, and you know your ass does do too, no matter what color you is. So fried chicken, yay for the fried chicken. Alright. And last but most certainly not least, what should show up via way of the good people of Visit Loudon to the parking lot of the Stagecoach Theater Company. Let's go ahead and throw a little picture up on the screen right there. Okay, you see that van right there? That van that your boy is styling and profiling right there? It's a V-Dub van, right? It's your typical, well, somewhat typical, old school, hippies, 60 flower power style V-Dub Beetle van. But no, this van, it's got a little bit of significance to it. Got a little bit of movie historical significance to it. As I would come to find out that this very van that you're seeing pictures of right now is the very same van that Robert De Niro, Samuel L. Jackson, and Bridget Fonda all rode in at some point during a little film that you may have heard of. A little film by, only in my eyes, the greatest fucking director of all time, Quentin Tarantino, a film called Jackie Brown. Yes, that van that you are seeing me stand right next to is the same van from Jackie Brown. Your boy touched some Tarantino shit yesterday. Maybe that's why I'm a little bit fired up right now. I touched a little bit of something that was held by the director, the filmmaking god himself. Good old Mr. Sir Quentin Tarantino. I know he ain't been knighted yet, but I'm going to go ahead and knight thee right there. Sir Quentin Tarantino, I got a little bit of your juice yesterday, so maybe someday our paths will actually cross. But bam. So I'm still running off that energy. And not to mention, of course, well, this is the real rush, y'all. So we here for movie reviews. And I got 6 movies, 6 new movies for y'all this week. How many did I say I was going to have last week? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We actually got 6 new movie reviews for y'all this week. So let's go ahead and get on down to brass tacks and see if I can, take some of this, loud and love and put it into these movies right here. So what's first up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket? Let's go ahead and kick things off with the latest installment in the storied sci-fi comedy franchise Men in Black. We gonna roll with Men in Black, aka MIB International, y'all. And in this installment, we have the beautiful and lovely Miss Tessa Thompson, ma'am. She stars as a woman named Molly, who actually ends up discovering the Men in Black organization on her own instead of it being the other way around, as we may have remembered the origin story, the very first Men in Black, how they found Will Smith. Now, in this version, Tessa Thompson finds them. And now, Tessa Thompson ends up becoming an agent with the Men in Black and ends up teaming up with Agent H, played by her Ragnarok and Avengers co-star, cohort, Chris Hemsworth, as they team up to stop a worldwide threat known as the Hive. Now, this latest installment of the Men in Black franchise also stars Emma Thompson. She makes her return from Men in Black 3. We also have in here, we have the voice of Kumail Nanjiani. We also have starring in this, we have Rafe Spall, and we also have the awesome, epic Liam Neeson, who at one point in the movie does make a little rib on the Taken franchise. See if you can spot it. Now, as you just heard me mention, all the stars of this movie, who's missing? What's missing from Men in Black International? How about the 2 original stars of the Men in Black franchise? Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, they were anywhere to be found? Anywhere? Nope. Nowhere to be found anywhere near this installment except for just a few in-movie refs. The movie is going to be self-referential, at least I would hope it would be. So, the question remains, can or does Men in Black International stand on its own without either of its 2 top original franchise stars? And the answer is it totally fucking can. Does it do as well as the previous installments of the Men in Black franchise? Well, you know what I'm going to say at this. It's always best to not compare the newest installment to something much earlier, especially if it's been so many years. And especially with the fact that you're dealing with mostly different characters this go around. Yes, it's in the same franchise setting, so you got the whole neuralizing thing and all that stuff going on. You still have all the same old Men in Black shit, but it's different characters that you're dealing with. So, with that being said, it does, for lack of a better term, it leaves a different taste in your mouth, or with you, leaving the theater than the original 3 Men in Black installments. So, how is Men in Black International just as its own? As part of the franchise as its own? Okay, so the action sequences and the CGI, very well done. There's a decent twist in it, like its predecessors. And Les Twins, 2 brothers, 2 French models, they do pretty good as the villains of this installment. How about our main players of this? Chris Hemsworth. He gets to show off some more of his comedic talents that we've seen in some of the Marvel movies, and that we also saw in the ill-received, but I think was pretty well done Ghostbusters reboot of just a couple years ago that people are still shitting on to this day, but fuck y'all, that movie was awesome. So we got Chris Hemsworth. He's showing off some of his impeccable comedic timing. The boy's just getting better with that with each passing role that he gets. Plus, He holds great chemistry with, of course, Tessa Thompson, as we've seen in Thor Ragnarok and the Avengers movies. And he holds really good chemistry with the one and only Liam Neeson as well. So overall, Men in Black International. I will admit, much like a lot of, latest installments of other franchises so far this season, I would have to call this the weakest of the Men in Black franchise. Between that and MIB 3, okay? But don't let that take anything away from the movie. Don't let that take away the fact that you should still go see it, because it is still pretty enjoyable, and it's most important to note that it's not a franchise killer. We've seen a lot of reboots or remakes or restartings, for lack of a better term, if there is a better term, of franchises with different players and different characters, and sometimes it doesn't turn out too well, but that's not the case here in Men in Black International. I say you should definitely go see it. See it for yourself. If you're an MIB fan, you cannot pass this up. I saw this at the Airbus on Thursday night. It was my 5th Thursday in a row up at the Airbus, so that means I did see it in IMAX. You want to make sure that you do the same. You follow suit. You see Men in Black International in the highest quality possible, because it's booming, y'all. It's booming. You should not be disappointed by this latest installment. So MIB International, go check that shit out. It's in theaters everywhere. Next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, excuse me, let's go ahead and move right along to another latest installment in yet another classic storied franchise, and I am talking about the new Shaft. I have to say the new Shaft because this is the 5th installment of the Shaft franchises, and 3 of the fucking movies are named Shaft. You got Shaft 1971, you got Shaft 2000, and now you got Shaft 2019. The other 2 that actually had a little bit more wording in the title, also from the 70s, you had Shaft's Big Score and Shaft in Africa. Who can forget that one? Now, that was a good one. Now, in this one, we follow John Shaft III, son of Shaft, son of Shaft, son of Shaft, grandson of Shaft, played by Jesse T. Usher. He's an FBI data analyst, and he enlists the aid and the help of John Shaft II, Samuel L. Jackson, to investigate following the death of one of his very close and bestest friends. This installment also stars, we also have in here Regina Hall, we have Alexandra Shipp, man. We have Titus Welliver, we have Method Man, and of course, we got the OG up in this motherfucker. We got Richard Roundtree up in this set. So we got all 3 Shafts up in this joint, baby. All 3 Shafts. So, boom, right there. If you're a fan of the franchise, you need to go see this. There were plenty of old heads in the theater last night when I went to go see it, and all of them came from the original 70s, fans of the original 70s franchise that came to see the new Shaft and see how different would it be from the previous movies. Okay? Okay. So, how is the new Shaft? How is Shaft 2019? It does start off just a tad sluggish. It takes a while to get going, but then again, that's if you're going in the mindset that you're expecting just a straight up 100% comedy. It's not that. You got a good action comedy blend going on here. I will say though that the laughs really ramp up when Sam Jack shows up on the screen. That's when things really pick up. As I just stated, it's a pretty good blend of action, comedy. It parodies its own predecessors very well without coming off, too terribly self-aware or too silly or anything along those lines. The action in it, it's over the top, reminiscent of its franchise, as only the Shaft franchise can do. So, I mean, you got the 70s versions where it's mostly, it's mostly a lot of action, there's a lot of dramatic elements. Then you came into the 2000 version where there was a lot of action, there's some good dramatic elements, and you had your humor sprinkles. in throughout of it. Well, this one, it's mostly action comedy, 50-50, but it does have its dramatic elements as well. So it doesn't stray too terribly far away from the franchise, and it does keep things in the Shaft family. There is, however, a plot hole that I realized from this version and the 2000 installment, but it's somewhat easy to overlook. The only reason I've noticed it is because I've seen the 2000 version a million times, and I just happen to pick up on certain little details. So there's a little bit of a continuity error if you do happen to pick it up, but once again, it's very easy to overlook if you go into too much detail between the 2000 version and this latest installment. So just go ahead and disconnect reality from that, and you should be good to go. And it's perfect timing with it being a Father's Day release, because you got Shaft, son of Shaft, and grandson of Shaft all up in one 1 hour and 51-minute movie. So it's getting mixed reviews from the critics, of course, but it's getting a positive reaction from the audience, including the audience that I was part of last night. Every single one of us loved it, laughed out loud. It's riot and laughs and action and all types of shit. Perfect Father's Day movie, perfect adult Father's Day movie. Don't take the kids to go see this one, but yes, Shaft 2019, you want to go see this joint, check it out now. Next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, let's go to a different type of blend. We're going to keep the comedy element, we're going to remove the action, and we're going to put in horror. And we're going to talk about The Dead Don't Die. And The Dead Don't Die is a new horror comedy from director Jim Jarmusch. And in this movie, this follows the citizens of a small town named Centerville. Not Centerville out here in Virginia. Centerville out here in Virginia wishes it could have a zombie apocalypse with all the Walking Dead fans running around here and shit. So, if this one follows the citizens of small town Centerville as they band together after some strange goings-ons, whatever, around the town, happen to cause a zombie outbreak that they must fend off. Now we got a star-stacked cast in this one, y'all. Who we got in this? We got Bill Murray, we got Adam Driver, Tilda Swinton, Chloe Sevigny, we got Steve Buscemi, we got Danny Glover, Kayla Landry Jones, Rosie Perez, Iggy Pop, Sarah Driver, wife of Jim Jarmusch, RZA, Carol Kane, Selena Gomez, and Tom Waits. So you got the cast right there. It's fucking booming. The movie itself, it's very quirky, and it's very self-referential, that showcases much of Jim Jarmusch's sense or style of deadpan humor. Plus, well, let's actually, before we get to that plus, it's smart comedy. I like this movie because of the fact that the humor isn't spelled out for you. It's not laid out for you to the point where it's like, you gotta explain it and like, okay, yeah, I get that joke, I get that joke, I get that joke. It's very subtle humor, but it's there. The humor is very subtle and very dry, but it is there. Just gotta widen your brain a little bit. Plus, there's the plus. I found it, personally, to pay homage to the zombie B-movies of the 60s and the 70s and into the 80s and maybe even early 90s. It's got, those movies had a certain formula to it that this movie just completely riffs on. It's fucking awesome. So, between those two things, if you're not, if you're not familiar with the zombie B-movie genre of the 60s through the 80s or early 90s, or I should say, if you're not familiar with Jim Jarmusch's style of filmmaking, I feel like the average audience will not get this movie. I don't see why this movie's so funny. Why are people getting this movie? I don't see why it's so funny. You're gonna get those type of people coming out of this movie after expecting like another Zombieland or something like that. So don't go in this expecting another Zombieland or anything along those lines, or Shaun of the Dead or anything, because you're going to get something completely different, and more than likely you're going to be disappointed. This is a different type or different take on the zombie horror comedy genre. So, that being said, it does provide quite the greater opportunity for Jim Jarmusch's style and sense of filmmaking to appeal to wider audiences. So maybe, they'll want to, take a look at some of his earlier works. So, The Dead Don't Die. Don't write it off. Go see it. Treat yourself to something different. Treat yourself to something extraordinary, because it is completely out of the ordinary, this film is. Go see The Dead Don't Die. Check it out. And that is the one this week that I would love to hear back from people on what y'all thought of The Dead Don't Die. So let your boy know, holla at your boy after you go see The Dead Don't Die. Next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, we got... We're going to go here with... Let's go with Late Night. New comedy drama. And this one stars Emma Thompson. We have Emma Thompson back. As a matter of fact, we saw this Thursday as well before Men in Black. And that turned Thursday night into a Emma Thompson doubleheader. So, booyah. So, in Late Night, we got Emma Thompson, who stars as late night talk show host Catherine Newberry. She's been around for a couple decades, been quite successful for a couple decades, obviously, because she's been on the air for a couple decades. Now, she ends up enlisting the help of her writing staff when she's find out that she's being threatened with being replaced as host of her late night talk show. Now, at this point, in comes Mindy Kaling's character named Molly. We have another Molly in our midst. We had what? Molly in Booksmart. We had Molly in Men in Black International. And now we got Molly in Late Night. All smiles. So anywho. So Molly comes in, played by Mindy Kaling, to try and save the show by providing her own sense of fresh thoughts. And especially, even more so, diversity into their mostly Caucasian male-dominated writing staff and entertainment field. The release timing of this movie, it just simply could not be better given the current social climate change between gender equality. And this movie speaks a lot about it, and it does it in a great way. It provides some good laughs, but since I didn't mention that it is a comedy drama, I felt, and I think that the audience that I was watching this with on Thursday night felt the same way as well. I did hear one guy say that he didn't think it was as funny as he thought it was going to be. That's okay, because it does feel like more of a lighthearted drama with some laughs in it. It's not like, like a Superbad or like Friday or Half Baked, where you're gonna be expecting laughs a minute. It's not that kind of movie. But Mindy Kaling did write the screenplay for this, and it's outstandingly written and portrayed on the screen. And like I said, given today's current social climate with gender equality, it speaks bounds about it and does it in a great way. It's a true inspirational film for adults in any field, not just in the inspirational field. And this goes for any gender, whatever your background is, whatever your background is, whatever whatever you are, whoever you are. Take this movie, see this movie, and get some inspiration behind it, because no matter who you are these days, man, woman, black, white, doesn't matter. There is some type of glass ceiling, no matter where you go, that must be broken through, and this movie speaks right on that. You want to go ahead and see Late Night. Get yourself some inspiration. Like I said, pretty timely, given this time. Yes, given this time. So, Late Night, go check it out. And speaking of checking things out here, the Let's check out what's going on back in the ring.
Reverse that shit. What's he going for here? Sin Cara going up top. Oh! TJP just straight caught him! And he's going for the detonation kick! My God! My God! My God! Did you see that? He just straight reversed Sin Cara's shit into the fucking detonation kick for the 3! Genius! Complete genius by the man God's greatest gift to God, TJP.
Sin Cara's face! Sin Cara's face! It has got to be broken in half! I guarantee that he's bleeding all up under his mask. His shit is just all busted. TJP, God's greatest gift to God, huh? Well, judging from that detonation kick, well, it's hard to dispute that. Well, okay. Anywho, let's get on back down to this episode's Real Rush Ticket. And next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, we're going to roll along with a new powerful drama from director Jake Scott, son of Ridley Scott. American Woman. American Woman stars Sienna Miller as a Pennsylvania woman who ends up raising her grandson alone after her teenage daughter ends up going missing. But wait, there's more. The film actually follows Sienna Miller's character from the year that her teenage daughter goes missing through a 12-year period following that, as she copes with her loss while never giving up hope that her daughter may actually still be out there somewhere, alive somewhere. She doesn't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what happened to Bridget. What happened to Bridget? American Woman also stars Christina Hendricks. We have Aaron Paul of Breaking Bad fame. We have Amy Madigan of Field of Dreams fame. And we also have, this is one of the things that got me about that wanted to make me see this movie. We have Will Sasso of Mad TV fame in a rare dramatic role. And all the players of this movie do an outstanding job. So, Real Rush golf clap to y'all this week. American Woman takes quite the deep look into one's life when one's beloved family member goes missing, and how they could even possibly persevere after such a situation without any type of closure and or true knowledge of their loved one's whereabouts. So, Sienna Miller. We gotta touch on Sienna Miller first. Can I say it like that? Didn't mean it that way. I totally meant it that way. Sienna Miller. She puts on a phenomenally committed performance in this role. And the film overall is just, it's emotionally heavy. So be prepared to take a deep seat when you go to see American Woman. This is an absolute must-see. This is one of those movies that by the time that it ended, it had me concerned a little bit because of the fact that it's come out so early this year that it concerns me whether or not this will still be, you know, on the award season radar when it does come time for that later on this year. So let's keep the momentum for this movie going, y'all. American Woman, it's a must-see. It's currently in limited release, and it is currently playing at the Angelica, where I saw it on Friday evening, and it's also playing up at Cinema Arts Fairfax. If you know anywhere else in the DC metropolitan area that may be playing it, go check it out. Or if you're not even in the DC metropolitan area and you're watching this and you want to go see this joint, find a theater close to you, go check out American Woman, because it's a very human movie. And if who knows, if you know somebody who may have gone through this kind of situation or something along those lines, maybe it can help you understand what they might be going through better. Because isn't that what we're all here for? You know, gotta understand, you know, other people's shoes. You don't necessarily have to walk in them, but empathy. Try to understand what other people are going through. So, American Woman, check that out at all costs. And last, but most certainly not least, on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, we have The Last Black Man in San Francisco. Now, this film is the dramatic directorial debut of Joe Talbot, and this follows a man named Jimmy Fails. He's an African-American man who tries to reclaim his Victorian-style childhood home in the heart of San Francisco and in the Fillmore district that was built by his grandfather. And this story is actually based in part from that of Jimmy Fails' own real life. Yeah. In this movie, we also have starring Jonathan Majors. We have kind of a stack cast in this one too. We have Jonathan Majors. We have Danny Glover back in the cut once again. We have Tashina Arnold, better known as Pamela James from Martin. We have Rob Morgan, and we have Finn Wittrock in this movie. Now, Last Black Man in San Francisco. I knew absolutely nothing of this film before the Angelica posted it as one of their coming soon features on their website a couple weeks ago. I had seen this as part of the coming soon on the IMDb page, but didn't really look too much into it because I'm seeing a ton of titles coming soon. I never know which ones are actually going to come to this area. So I did go into this movie sort of blind, not really knowing what to expect. And the end result, overall, before we even get down to the fine details of this movie, The Last Black Man in San Francisco is my pick for the Real Rush movie of the week. And I'm going to tell you why. It's poignant. It's emotionally gripping. It even has a few humorous moments in it. Nothing too, over the top, nothing too much to take it completely out of its dramatic element. Overall, it is an incredibly powerful story. And that's just the movie overall. But there is one scene in particular. I'm not going to give away the details of the scene, because when you see it, not if you see it, when you see this film, you should know exactly what I'm talking about. This contains one of the most emotionally shocking and just shaking to my very soul, a scene like that I've ever seen in not just any black cinema film, in any film that I've ever seen before in my 37 years on this planet. The scene itself was an instant tearjerker. And that's just one scene out of this 2-hour and 1 minute movie. So, like I said, Last Black Man in San Francisco. It's this week's Real Rush movie pick of the week. And it's an absolute must-see. I would say that even more so than that of American Woman. This is also in limited release. It's playing up at the Angelica if you're in the DC metropolitan area. The theater itself, I saw like a 110 showing, and it did have a pretty decent turnout. But with these kind of movies, these kind of independent films, the more serious ones, and this is another one that absolutely needs to stay on the radar for award season later on this year. It needs to, and that is why I'm about to drill home the point right here. These type of movies, they don't get much exposure, y'all. How many commercials has anyone seen of The Last Black Man in San Francisco playing on TV? How many commercials did you see of American Woman playing on TV? How many trailers did you see of those two movies, in particular, those two movies, before you went to any of the big budget movies this year? How many times did you see either of these trailers at all this year? Little to no exposure, and yet the masses are missing out on these amazing, outstanding, phenomenal movies. And then when it comes time for award season, I've never heard of that. Then everybody wants to talk about, like, well, all the movies who get nominated for shit are movies that I've never heard of before. Well, I'm telling you right now, this is where these movies are playing, and these are the movies that you need to see. These are the movies that, if they get exposure enough, they will continue to play. That is how the system works. There was a movie that I saw a couple months ago, what was it? The Public. It kept falling off the radar, but I guess due to the mass exposure that it kept getting, eventually it starts showing up at more theaters. Now, I do know we live in today's digital age where things can go from the theater to digital HD to Blu-ray in a fucking heartbeat. I realize this, which is why it's so important that because these movies still need to make their box office take too. And these you can tell that these are passion projects, especially with the fact that this is based on Jimmy Fails' part of his actual life. Like, these are actually projects of passion from the heart that people are putting their heart and soul in to put into the movie theater for people to come out of their house and see. Don't wait for the home media. Don't wait for digital HD, for the digital code, or for it to show up on your on-demand or any shit like that. No, get up out your house and go see these movies. Go support the arts, y'all. It's so incredibly important that you do that, so that way when it does come time for award season, you're not sitting there like, well, none of the popular movies got nominated this year, but and blah 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 blah, or whatever anybody else's excuses usually are year after year. Go see these movies while they're out, while they're hot, and then tell your people about these movies so they can go see them too, and then word of mouth, word of mouth. Word of mouth, word of mouth. We're always using social media to spread stupid ass little memes and gifs and shit that isn't gonna matter in 2 or 3 minutes after they're posted. How about we start spreading the word about some shit that actually does matter, that might actually, give people some introspect on other people's lives and stuff like that. I'm off my soapbox. That's the last black man in San Francisco, y'all. Go see this movie. I'm not sure how long this is gonna last in the theater without any asses in the seats. So hopefully the audience trend that I saw when I saw this at the Angelica this past Friday, hopefully that continues. I'm telling y'all right now, this is a phenomenal movie to see for any and everybody. Go see The Last Black Man in San Francisco. And that, ladies and gents, is a wrap for episode 37 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. And I just want to take this moment to thank y'all once again for watching The Real Rush on YouTube for all these 37 episodes. I got as many episodes of The Real Rush posted now as I do years of life on this planet. So thank y'all for all y'all continued support, and please continue to watch The Real Rush because we got more coming. The music, the movie, well, the music ain't going, damn well the music ain't going to stop. The music never stop in my head, but the movies ain't going to stop coming out, so that means The Real Rush ain't stopping no time soon. So, before we get on down to what's coming up to y'all next week on episode 38, before then, I'm not sure if, actually, no. This should actually happen after next week's episode. But seeing as in that tickets are still available, I do want to let y'all know of the 2 remaining Bandit specials that are coming up over the next 2 weekends. First up, instead of our normal third Friday monthly show, that's been moved to next Sunday. So next Sunday, June 23rd, 6:30, special start time of 6:30 p.m. Come out and see the Stagecoach Bandits June Improv Show. Tickets are $12 online, $15 at the door. But if you order your tickets online and use the promo code John, you get yourself a discount. So please see the bottom of the TV screen there. Address information. As well, actually, no, let's go ahead and read off the address because I almost fucked that up last time. Our address is 20937 Ashburn Road. That's in Ashburn, Virginia. Again, that is 20937 Ashburn Road. That's in Ashburn, Virginia. And to purchase tickets to our shows, you may go to... I do have it written down, but we're going to have... I want to... Make sure you go to... Pop it on the screen there. That is stagecoachtc.com/stagecoach-bandits. Once again, that's stagecoach T as in Tom, C as in coach.com/stagecoach-bandits. That is where you can purchase your tickets online, as well as see our address and phone number information should you need to make any inquiries or anything along those lines. So that's next Sunday's show. Please come out. We do have a couple tickets available, but we only seat 60, and those tickets do tend to go fast. And this will actually be our first time holding our show on an actual weekend night instead of on, a Friday night. So people aren't coming from work. People are actually coming from, well, there's no football on or anything, so people are actually coming from nothing. So these tickets might actually go a little bit faster than our Friday show. So don't say I didn't warn you if you just want to show up at the door next Sunday at 6:25 and then find out that we've been sold out. Don't get left out. Get your tickets now. And of course, the Saturday after that, the WrestleMania of Northern Virginia Improv, as I build it, ladies and gents. We have Improvicon coming your way. Tickets are also still available for that as well. Once again, that is taking place Saturday, June 29th at 7. That is at the Theater on the Green. That is actually located at 4225 Aiken Drive in Warrenton, Virginia. Once again, that is 4225 Aiken Drive in Warrenton, Virginia. Same as our Bandit show. Tickets for this are $12 online, $15 at the door. And if you would like to purchase these online, you may do so at apm.activecommunities.com. That is A as in Aaron. Actually, well, Aaron, not Aaron. Alright, let's do this again. A as in Apple, P as in Paul, M as in Michael, .activecommunities.com. We're looking for a big showing, and of course, since you are watching this, and I'm a bandit, you want to make sure that you are coming out to support the Stagecoach Bandits. There are 4 other teams in this show, but we already know that we gonna tear their asses up, y'all. So come on out, support your Stagecoach Bandits by wearing black, because once you go black, you never go back. You know that, y'all. You know that, y'all. Come on out, wear your black, show your support, so that way we know who's supporting who in the audience. Come on out, Improvigon. It's gonna be a slobber knocker, y'all. And next week, episode 38 of The Real Rush will be coming your way. Where next episode I will have reviewed for you. Looking like a shortish week next week. A 3-movie weekend, as I just quipped to one of my best friends the other day. I never thought, well, I would say that a 3-movie weekend actually started to look easy, but here we are. So next weekend I will have reviewed for y'all. We got Toy Story 4. I've been catching up on those so I can go into that good and ready. I love those movies. I had seen Toy Story, the original one, way back in the day. I actually watched it in a computer class back in high school. But I had never seen Toy Story 2, and I still haven't seen the third one. I just watched the second one a couple nights ago, and I'm going to watch the third one here in a little bit. So that way I'm good to go on 4 coming this week. But they're so good. All the Pixar movies are so good. We also have Child's Play coming out next weekend as well, which is perfect placement right next to Toy Story. I would like to make that a double feature if I can, if my schedule permits. And we have the new we have the new Lick My Balls movie. Excuse me. We have the new Luc Besson movie, Anna. And as we know, as only Mr. Besson can do it, in the female empowerment roles, this one looks to be a strong force as well. So we'll have those 3 movies reviewed for y'all next weekend for episode 38. So in the meantime, ladies and gents, as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, any shit like that, go ahead and type those on into this YouTube page where you have to be viewing this video right here. Once again, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel thus far. Still working on getting to that 100. So please, keep spreading the word of the Real Rush like everybody should be spreading love these days, ladies and gents. So I can get to that 100 part and get my custom URL going on up in this piece. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to me yet, to the channel yet, what you waiting for? Because you wants to know when, you wants to be the first to know when the latest episode of each Real Rush on YouTube drops. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and thank you for doing so. And as always, you can most certainly follow your boy on Instagram for my live movie check-ins as they occur, and that is at JDubChampion, hashtag The Real Rush. And for The Real Rush, I am your boy J-Dub, ladies and gents. Once again, thank you for watching this episode of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. Remember, when you're at the movies, chill out, don't be doing all the talking. Put the smartphones and the smartwatches away for 2.5 hours, because I guarantee any calls, texts, anything else that you got waiting for you, and even the time will still be waiting for you after you get out of the movie. Enjoy yourselves. Have fun, y'all. Love J-Dub. And we'll see you next weekend. Peace out!
Is Mustafa Ali gonna get the pin off of that? 1, 2, 3, Mustafa Ali! By God! By God! By God! The 054 to the outside. Oh no! You gotta be kidding me! No, Mustafa! That's not the way to go! Mustafa Ali, goddammit, just turned heel! No!